Hey everyone, Mrs. Peterson here. I'm going to show you how to make a present for the Christmas video in Canva this year. So as you can see, we have the color palette here, and I want to show you what's kind of the goal that we're doing. This is presents from another year, and the color palette does not match out our color palette, but you can see you can use dark colors, you can use alternating colors. You can more than one color on your pattern. So this is kind of just how we're headed. We're looking for a lid on it as well, and I'll show you how to make a bow with shapes as well. So we're going to be using shapes to do this project. So what I am going to do is go to shapes. So I'm going to go to elements, and I'm going to type in shapes. And then I have all these shapes to choose from, which you guys used a lot already on your ornaments and on your snowflakes. So we're going to start with the basic shape, which is a rectangle. And you can make it long and skinny, or you can make it tall and fat, however you want to do it. This shape has been rounded, and I don't want rounded corners, so I'm going to go ahead and make it straight across. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my color palette. So I'm going to go here and grab my dropper and pick one of the colors for my shape. And the next thing I want to do is a pattern. So if we were in Photoshop, we would have the opportunity to cut off the patterns off the edges, but in this case, we're just going to have to put the pattern on our present. So I'm going to go back over to shapes and grab a shape that I'm going to make a pattern with. So I'm going to grab this right here. It came in as a color on my color palette, but I think I'm going to change the color to opposite purple on the color wheel, something yellow. Let's grab something yellow. Let's try this one. Okay, so now I've got something that I'm going to make a pattern with. And the easiest way to make a pattern, I've shown some of this to you, is to create a straight line, whether you do it up and down or across. And I actually picked a pretty good size for this because it's gonna fit. And I think what I would do is I would grab it. Make sure you're not grabbing the box. You can hit Shift and ungrab the box. And if you go to position, you can have it tidy it up. And when it's tidied up, it'll be straight. Everything will be the right amount. So I should have left that here. I'm holding Shift. I'm going to group it. Now it's grouped, and I can copy it and paste it, and I can make that pattern go all the way across. Copy and paste, and so on. Copy and paste, and so on. So I get my present with wrapping paper on it. Almost finished, but now I need a lid. Sometimes I make the lid ahead of time. And I've got a little bit extra shape here. I think the easiest way to deal with that would just be make this shape a little bit smaller. And now I have a pattern. And you can see you can make any kind of pattern. And sometimes they look really good when they're not lined up. Like these look great, and sometimes they look good when they're lined up. So there's not one way or another that you can do it. You could also have some of them be a different color, right? So I could go in there and change the color of this to something else. Let's grab a darker orange. And then I could have, I could make my pattern with more than one color. So there is the box. After we do the box, we're going to add shade to it. And the way that we're going to add shade to it is we're going to get another rectangle. And I might just grab this one if I can. Nope, it's not going to let me grab it. So here's a rectangle. Again, this one, for whatever reason, has curved corners. I don't want that. I'm going to make a lid for my box. But the easiest way to make this lid show is, I like it kind of when they overlap some, which it looks kind of cool, but it's up to you. There's my lid. And then I'm going to add layers to it so it looks a little more three-dimensional. So I'm going to take that same shape and copy it and make it half the size of the shape that it is. And you'll see why in a minute. And then I'm going to make it a darker color. Or actually, yes, I'm going to make it a darker color. So I'm going to grab my airdropper and I'm going to pick the dark color here. And you say, oh, Miss Peterson, that's too dark. No, it's not, because we're going to make that transparent. And the transparent is going to change the color. Then I'm going to duplicate this, Command C, and then Command V. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, and it's going to make it look three-dimensional. So I just duplicated the lid to make that. And now it looks like a three-dimensional present. The next thing we're going to do is add a ribbon to it. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this shape one more time and copy it and paste it. Let's see, let me grab it. It's not letting me grab it. There we go. Copy and paste. This one is see-through. I don't want it see-through. I want it a color. So I'm going to go ahead and make that full color. And if you wanted to, again, you could just go back here to shapes and grab, a line or something. But I'm just using the shapes I already have. So I'm going to grab a color for that. And what color shall I grab this time? Let's grab, this bright green for my ribbon. Rotate it 90 degrees. Put it on the box. And make it the height that I need it. Not bad. Now it's really starting to look cool. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is put a ribbon on it. So we're going to use shapes for our ribbon. And the best shapes that work I've found have been like clouds or semicircles or triangles. So I'm going to grab this one right here, which is none of those shapes I just told you. And before I do anything, I'm going to actually make it 2 shades. So I'm going to duplicate it and make the second one smaller. And that one is going to be a different shade. So I'm going to go over here and grab my colors and my color picker and pick the dark shade. And now it looks more like a ribbon. I think I'm going to change that color to this shade instead. Let's see, go right here and get my color picker. I'm going to pick this next shade up instead. I like that better. And now look how close it is to being a ribbon, but I want to group it. So this could be a triangle. This could be this shape. This could be clouds. I saw one done with a cloud. I'll show you in a second. And I'm going to group it, and then I'm just going to duplicate it. And now I'm going to rotate them. So here's a rotation here. And here's a rotation here. And now I have a ribbon. And some people, like to add something coming down here, but this is the basic present. Now I have colors from the color scheme. I have a present. Now let's go back up and look at these. Okay. These were rectangles. These were triangles. Here's that similar shape that I was using right there. This one looks like they used triangles and a bunch of triangles to make this shape here. And this one could easily be a cloud. This one, well, we did it in Photoshop. So there's all different ways you can make bows. And now group it. Group everything. I don't want to group this up here, sorry. Let's try again. Group it. And then when you're finished, you would delete this and delete, well, your name's not going to be here, right? Your name's going to be here. So also I thought, well, it doesn't have to be a square box. So if you want to be outside of the box, get it outside of the box. You could use different shapes. So this was a trapezoid, and I just flipped it over and made the lid out of the flipped trapezoid. And this one was this shape right here. There's the shape, and then I flipped the lid and I made it wider, and now I have a different shape. So you can be really, quote, outside of the box for your Christmas box, but I do want patterns, and I want ribbons and bows. All right, have at it. I love you. I miss you already. Go out and change your world for the better. Bye now.